Good. Live again. Another Wednesday afternoon live stream with me. With nobody in the chat room yet, which is okay. People will show up now that I've gone live. Wondering who will show up first. I'm betting either my friends the Bet or the Big 12 will be the first one in. No, I was wrong. It was Sports Expert 101. You were not the first person I expected to show up first, but thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. So far, so good, folks. At least today, as I start this stream up at noon on Wednesday, the 12th. No other conferences have decided to torpedo their seasons. We still haven't heard anything from the Big Ten torpedoed their season. Big 12 hasn't. So Big 12, ACC, and SEC have yet to make a definitive announcement on what they're going to do with the 2020 college football season. What's up, Mr. Legs and Ballard? Good to see you in here too, sir. Other people have given their opinions on this subject. I'm going to give mine very briefly. I think now that 2 of the 5 Power 5 dominoes have fallen. Sadly to say, I think it's inevitable. I think it's going to be, for one thing, I think it's going to be really hard to hold a true national championship with 2 of your 5 power conferences out of the picture. So I think now the Pac-12, which didn't surprise me at all considering the leftist nature of that conference, and it did surprise me that the Big Ten shut down. It really did surprise me that they shut down their season too, but Pac-12 didn't surprise me at all. But with 2 of the 5 conferences out, I just can't see how you can crown a true national championship. And I don't think the athletic directors or the presidents of the universities and the heads of the boards of the other 3 conferences are willing to stick their necks out and continue playing. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe the SEC and the ACC and Big 12 are going to wait because I think they all delayed the start of their season into September. Maybe they're going to wait and not make announcements. Although, as I speak, I understand that the Big 12 might be making an announcement today. And I've got my handy-dandy phone here. And if a headline pops up about that, I'll mention it on the stream. But as we stand right now, that's where we are. We've got 3 of the 5 conferences still haven't made the decision yet, one way or the other. So it could be, that we're going to have 3 of the 5 conferences play, or all 5 crap out. And that's going to be a huge economic loss to a lot of universities. Somebody just said in here, Bobby Legs, being a funny guy, saying can't have a national championship without Rutgers. Well, Bobby, schools like Rutgers, who don't make a lot of money on sports anyway, probably their football program ends up costing them money rather than making the money, if they do make any money. That may spell the end for a lot of these smaller programs. Let's be honest. How popular is football in a school like Rutgers, or in a school like UConn, or some of the MAC schools? The directional Michigan schools or South Dakota State or even Wyoming or something like that. I mean, these are really small programs. Colorado State comes to mind. Even Colorado comes to mind. They rely on football being played and TV revenue being generated. And in some cases, with the Cupcakes playing the big boys a lot, and all of a sudden those games are canceled one way or the other. I mean, we're going to play Eastern Washington as one of our tune-up games, one of our cupcake games at the University of Florida. Eastern Washington gets paid good, solid, six-figure money, $750,000, maybe even $1 million, to fly into Gainesville, Florida, and get their ass handed to them. And that isn't going to happen, even if the SEC plays this year. Those games are canceled because we're going to an all-conference schedule. Eastern Washington, how much revenue is that team going to generate versus how much that program is going to cost them? And, will those programs survive? Do a lot of Division One and Division One AA or FBS and FCS respectively? How many of those programs survive without big dollars from the big schools like your Floridas, your Georgias, your Ohio States, your Alabamas? Teams that bring those small schools in to beat up on and tune their teams up for the important stuff. And then you drill down even further into the stadium workers, the parking attendants, the ticket takers, the vendors, the people who supply food for everything from the caterers and skyboxes to the guys bringing popcorn and the sodas and the beer, and then all the sports bars and places that show the games and places like that. How are they going to survive? College football has a big economic footprint, and two of the five major conferences, and several of the smaller conferences. I know the Ivy League is shut down, the MAC shut down. Other small conferences may say to hell with it too. Think about it. College football has a big footprint, and you can't do college football in a bubble like you can with the NBA or the NHL. And if college football folds, what's going to happen to the National Felons League? Not that I give a good goddamn about it. I'm not going to watch those whiny little anti-American millionaires and they're bitching about them being oppressed while playing a kids game and making hundreds of thousands or millions or tens of millions of dollars and oppressed. You know what? You can go ahead and oppress me for a couple of $1 million a year playing a game. Yeah, go ahead and oppress me. Tell me what to do for $2 million a year, guaranteed money. I'll do it. All right. Well, let's see who's in here. We got Blue Shirt Buddha. I'm sorry about what happened to the Rangers. I think didn't the Rangers get bounced out in the first round? Sorry about that, guy. I guess your hockey season kind of ended early, but hopefully there'll be football for you. Let's see, Melvin. How are you? I'm doing all right. How are you, sir? Appreciate you stopping by. Let's see. Ballard says he agrees with me. If we only had Big 12, ACC, and SEC, would it really be a fair playoff field or race? Well, the Pac-12 wasn't going to contribute anyway. The sad part is that Big Ten being out, that takes out a couple of real big contenders like Ohio State and Penn State and Wisconsin, or God help us, even Mr. Khaki Pants in Michigan. So that takes out a bunch of contenders to the throne. And can you really claim a true national championship without the Big Ten playing? And I have this gut-wrenching feeling the Big 12 is going to fold up too. No, I didn't see anything about the Cincinnati Reds. I don't really follow baseball, Ballard. So if you got facts about that, please post them up for me. Uncle Lou's here. Hang on, Lou. Hang on, I gotta do this for you. Wait a minute. Making Lou a moderator. If Lou can have me as a moderator on his two channels, Lou can be a moderator on my channel. Good morning, sir. How are you? Um, must be exciting over at the Lou household right now. He's a day away from getting that new building of his installed, and that's going to be really cool. I hope I get a chance to see it someday. I'll take you out to lunch this time. Let's see. Bobby's telling me that Rutgers football is popular, but not to the extent of a Michigan or Florida. All right. I mean, you know better than I do, I guess. So if you say it's popular, it's popular. But I don't see the fans in the stands like I do here in the South. But okay. Ballard says it's true. The Reds proposed a plan not only continue to play, but allow fans back in the stands. Well, I hope they let fans back in the stands. I mean, I'm not the world's biggest fan of baseball, but if we can get fans back in the stands, it sort of brings back an air of normalcy to the whole thing, and it certainly beats the hell out of cardboard boxes. Colby's here. How you doing? Rob F just popped in. Rob F says he will happily accept an SEC ace. I'm sure you meant ACC, not AAC, and Big 12 football season at this point. Yeah, I would accept it too, but that's going to put kind of a damper on the national championship. But you know what? No Big 10 means there's probably going to be two SEC schools get into the championship round. I'm thinking Florida and Alabama, probably. Let's see. Got 10 thumbs up. That's good. Yeah, I'm just going to do my quick little advertising thing real quick. Please, if you're in here, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. That does help the channel. It helps get the channel recognized by the YouTube algorithms a bit better. Helps bring more new people to my channel and helps me grow. I am still trying to grow, believe it or not. Also, the super chat button is active. It's down there somewhere if you are of a mind to do so. And I've also put a PayPal link in the description for the video. If you want to take that extra step, that means that if you do contribute PayPal-wise, I get 100% of that proceed instead of 50% through super chat. And if I don't have PayPal running right now, so if you do PayPal, you can attach a message to it. Just let me know, and I'll read the message on here. That is one advantage of the super chat, is the message pops up for everyone to see here as well. Don't have to, of course. I mean, if you want to do it, it's great. If you don't want to do it, I certainly understand, but I'm glad you're here anyway. Ballard, I don't think we're going to get 3 SEC teams. Somebody threw that out there during Uncle Lou's live stream after at night last night. I could not see any kind of scenario where you would take. I mean, I could see a scenario where you would take the ACC champion, the Big 12 champion, and the SEC champion, and maybe the SEC runner-up. Whoever played the SEC championship game and lost, they could get in. But would you take another SEC team that didn't even get to Atlanta over, maybe the second place ACC school or the second place Big 12 school? No, I don't see that scenario. I really don't. Or I mean, I correct myself. A third place SEC school over a first place ACC or a first place Big 12. I mean, maybe if the Big 12 conference winner had 3 losses, I mean, I could. But still, they won their conference game. the third place SEC team didn't even get to the SEC championship game. So I couldn't see a 3 SEC team scenario in any case unless it was just the SEC and one other conference. In which case, if that scenario happened, let's say fantasy of fantasies, the ACC and the SEC decided to play, and the other 3 conferences crapped out. Then you know what I would do in that scenario is I'd take the top 2 SEC schools and the top 2 ACC schools. Whoever went to the SEC championship game, no matter what the winner was, both teams go. Same with the ACC, and you would just see them. SEC, ACC winners are 1-2. SEC and ACC losers in the championship game are 3-4, and you go by record at that point. But I don't know. I just don't see. I'm really becoming kind of paranoid about this whole thing. Lou, if you want to jump in, feel free to. You're not shy about telling people when you think they're wrong. So if you think I'm wrong, or if anyone thinks I'm wrong, please, say something. I just don't think we're going to have football this year. I really don't, and that's really going to hurt a lot of my friends on YouTube. There are a couple of guys that I'm friends with. Uncle Lou was one of them. This is his livelihood. I'm sure Lou is already thinking up ideas to keep his viewership up and keep the ad revenue coming in, and keep making a living doing what he's doing. He's a smart man, and he's an idea guy, so I'm sure he's come up with ideas on how to continue making money even in the worst case scenario of a torpedoed season. But that's going to be really hard on a lot of people. Like I said earlier in the stream, college football has a big economic footprint. The restaurant and sports bar industry, the people who work the stadiums, the broadcasters. The TV networks are scheduled to lose a ton of money, and there's only so much rerunning of old games you could play before people just start to tune into Disney Channel again. Is this stream still running? And nobody's commenting, so I'm really worried that sometimes this stream goes in and out. So, is it still going? Somebody give me a signal that I'm still live. Okay, thank you, pal. I appreciate it. Rob F is a baseball fan. Okay. I'm not a baseball fan. I never really have been. I was really happy for the Red Sox when they finally broke through and put the curse of the Bambino to bed back in, 2004 or whenever it was, or 2007. I can't even remember. I was really happy for my father. My father was a baseball fan for a good long time, and he was a Red Sox fan because he was born and grew up in Boston. And I was really happy that he got to see in his lifetime the Red Sox finally break the curse and win a World Series, and then actually won another one a couple of years later, or 3 years later. So I was really happy for him for that. I'm not really a baseball fan. I'm a football fan, and I'm an auto racing fan. So that's where that's why I like to be watching football, hockey, auto racing. The auto racing has been a bit of a disappointment for me this year because my favorite driver in NASCAR is doing pretty badly. He still looks like he's going to make the playoffs, but he hasn't won a race yet in the top series. And I know that gets frustrating for him. It gets frustrating for us as his fans, but still love to watch his stuff. What do you got to say here? Ballard saying President Trump says go forward with college football. not to get political, but the fact that the President of the United States is saying something says a lot about what can happen. Yeah, I saw that Trump was saying things, that we need to have the college football season and so on. I certainly appreciate the leader of the free world piping in on a subject that is as relatively workaday as college football or sports in general. Um, Unfortunately, well, obviously, he has no power to dictate what goes on with that. But unfortunately, he's dealing with university presidents and athletic directors and board members of conferences that are going to make decisions based on other factors than the president of the United States, that most of them probably don't even like anyway, says that he would like to see college football go forward. And I'm not saying I don't understand what these conference monkey mucks are saying and doing with respect to canceling the football season for their particular conference. I mean, I do not want to be the head of the university of whatever, and have one of my players on my university team go down with COVID and then pass away because of it, either because of the COVID or because the COVID exacerbated a pre-existing condition, which is what happens more often than not, or God forbid, players get COVID, live through it, but have some kind of internal respiratory damage that's permanent. And how is the university going to react to that? I mean, who wants to be the president of a university or the athletic director of a university where a kid either dies playing football or gets sick and becomes permanently injured because of playing football, when it all could have been easily avoided by not playing football? And nobody, I guarantee you, nobody on God's green earth wants to be the head of the university that has that happen to them. And I believe that's got everybody running very, very scared. And I believe that kind of fear is what caused the Pac-12 to pack it in. And probably was it Pac-12 went first? No, the Big Ten went first. So I'm not willing to discount the idea that that is in some of the thinking that drove the Big 12 to cancel, and I definitely think that's some of the thinking that made the Pac-12 cancel, and it may be a good chunk of the thinking that makes the other conferences cancel. Nobody wants to be responsible for the death of a young man on a football field. Let's see. Mike Tyson. I don't care about Mike Tyson. Moving on. Let's see. Oh, Goose is here. How you doing, Goose? Good afternoon to you too. Let's see. Oh, Bartholomew Bob the Barner, E-I-E-I-O, is here. No, Bob, I'm not wearing a Michigan shirt. I'm wearing an IBM shirt. See, IBM. Used to work for IBM back in the day. Some of the best professional years of my life were the 10 or so years I spent with IBM. That was a lot of fun. I worked with a lot of great people. I was making really, really good money, and it was that job that allowed me to buy a house. I had already met my soon-to-be ex-wife, not soon, but it allowed me to propose to her with comfort. It allowed me to get married, buy a house, start a family. And IBM was good to me, and I was good to IBM. So I really loved IBM a lot. And I thought this shirt was kind of neat, kind of spelling it out. There's a term for this type of graphic. I don't remember the word, but there's a word for this kind of thing. I just like it. It's a very comfortable shirt too. But no, not a Michigan shirt. Never a Michigan shirt. You see me with a Michigan shirt, I either lost or bet or I lost my mind. That's probably a good bet I should make with Uncle Lou when the Georgia game rolls around. Let's see. Ballard says, he honestly thought the Pac-12 would be the first to go. Yeah, me too. I really thought the Pac-12 was going to be the first league to cancel out, owing to the culture of that part of the country. I would have thought the Pac-12 would have been first to say, we're not going to do it. And owing to the fact that it's, I believe, the weakest of the 5 big conferences, I don't know that there would have been a lot of incentive for them to play. They were bound to get locked out of the playoffs anyway. So I would have figured the Pac-12 would have packed it in, no pun intended. But it was the Big Ten, and that sort of surprised me. I mean, you've got college football blue bloods in the Big Ten with Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and Wisconsin, and even some of the second level teams are well known throughout the country, like Purdue and those guys. I really was surprised that the Big Ten was the first team, the first conference to fold. I really would have thought it was the Pac-12. But let's see. Nothing has popped up on my phone yet in terms of headline announcements. I know that I heard on the radio, I know that the Big 12 said that they were having a meeting, and somebody on the radio called it a press conference was going to happen this afternoon to announce what they were going to do with their football season. So I think the Big 12 is, they're on deck. They're the next conference on deck to tell us what they're going to do. And I think it could go either way. I think if the Big 12 says we want to play, let's play. I think the ACC and the SEC are going to announce fairly quickly that they're going to play too. If the Big 12 folds up, I think the other 2 conferences can't stand up to that, and they're going to fold too. Because I mean, you've got to think not just what it all means, because everyone's got the conference schedules anyway, so no conference is going to be interacting with another one. But you got to think, what is it going to mean for a national championship game? Can there be a national championship game that means something if you only have the ACC and the SEC playing, and you've knocked out the entire Midwest, the entire middle of the country, and the far west are all knocked out, have all said we're going home and we're not playing. So can you really have a true national championship if you have the eastern coast of the United States and the southern states playing football and everyone else sitting at home? So I think the Big 12 here is going to be the key. If they say we play, we're going to have a season. If they say no, then I think it's over. It's a fait accompli. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Let's see. Ballard is also annoyed by the whole Notre Dame joining the ACC for a year only. Yeah, I agree. But that subject would be to death. I think Notre Dame's football program has no guts. They have no balls. I just don't understand why they're in the ACC for everything else. Just join the ACC and get it over with. I mean, take your beating at the hands of Clemson and maybe a couple other schools. I mean, you have natural rivalries in the ACC. It all comes down to a false sense of pride and a false sense of and just an arrogance, just an absolute arrogance on the part of Notre Dame that they think they mean so much to college football that they can play idiot games like they're playing and dance on the edge of a conference. The arrogance being shown by Notre Dame in terms of college football is quite frankly pathetic. When, with the exception of 1 year, and I think it was 2012, the program hasn't been relevant since the 80s, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think they were very relevant in the 90s. Certainly not relevant in the 2000s. Maybe 2012 they had one good year, and now they're irrelevant again. So, they have this arrogance that is left over from the days of Rudy and all that other stuff that happened in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. Hey, like Uncle Lewis pointed out multiple times, Yale's won 27 national championships. That was back in the days of flapper girls in the Great Depression. What the hell good does it do them now when they're playing in the Ivy League and they don't play outside the Ivy League except maybe a couple of games against Colgate or James Madison? What are you doing, Notre Dame? You're being idiotic. You're the laughingstock of college football. Join the ACC. And the ACC had them over a barrel. The ACC, didn't butch up. They bitched up. They had Notre Dame dead to rights. They said, yeah, we'll let you join the ACC, but you're going to join permanently or you're not going to play football this year because we're going to conference only and you're going to lose your schedule. So join the conference and it's done, and it's done and done forever. They bitched out. They just gave them a 1 year, and 2021 Notre Dame is going back probably to being an independent again and making fools of themselves again and being irrelevant again. Whereas if they join the ACC, they can at least begin to work their way back into some kind of relevancy. But as far as Notre Dame goes, the hell with them. Golden Domers. Morons. Let's see. Oh, Birick is here. Birick. B-I-R-I-C-K, Birick. Hello. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to go with Birick. Let's see. Rob F. says Notre Dame should have been required to join the Big Ten long ago. That's where they belong. Geographically, I agree with you, Rob. They do belong in the Big Ten because the Big Ten is Midwest, and Notre Dame is in Indiana, if I recall correctly. South Bend, Indiana, yeah. So, yeah, they should be in the Big Ten, but they should be in a conference, period. Stop. That's where they should be. Jim C., welcome to the stream. Have I been running the emergency much? Yes, watch questions are absolutely okay. This is sort of my streams. I don't have a structure to my streams. I've got a mixture of subscribers on my channel. I have a lot of watch people, obviously. I have a lot of sports people because I moderate some sports channels, and I'm a big supporter of a couple of college football channels. And a lot of those guys have subbed up to my channel. So a lot of them come in here because they see me in the sports stream, so they come here to my stream. So I end up talking a lot of sports on a watch channel. Whatever. But yeah, absolutely. You want to talk watches, you want to talk sports. I really don't want to talk politics, but if we must, I'll dabble in that a little bit. I don't think my political feelings are a big secret. This is, of course, Stillwater. everyone. People were accusing me once or twice of this being like, what is that, Blue Goose or Blue Sky vodka or whatever, similar bottle color, but no, it's just water. Have I been wearing the emergency? I have. I actually wore it a couple of days ago. I wore it all day. It's a very, very comfortable watch. It's really a hell of a nice watch to wear. Today, I am actually wearing a watch that I just bought. It's a Zelos. The video will be coming on that shortly, but I picked up another couple of Zelos recently. 3 of them, actually. So videos are all coming on those. So great watch. I like this watch. You do right face. Very cool. And Rick says, read yesterday that Spurs said let the SEC and ACC play. One of them going to win it anyways. Yeah, I can't disagree with Steve. You know, Steve knows football. That's for damn sure. So yeah, I could see that, but again, it goes back to the argument I made about 10 minutes ago. I want college football to play. I am an SEC guy, so I don't really watch games from the other channels very much. I do watch them, but I don't watch them as much as I watch the SEC games. So if the SEC is playing, I'm happy. If the ACC is playing too, that's good. And if the two of them play all the way to the end, which is another argument altogether, I mean, good on you if you can start the season somehow, but can we finish it? I mean, you know, what happens if COVID runs rampant through a conference and all of a sudden we can't put enough players on the field to play a 7-on-7 game? You know, then you can't finish the season. So that's a problem too. I mean, the problem starting the season is one thing. Ending the season is another. I'm still waiting to see if the Big 12 does a headline or not on the. There's Chess Hall. No, Chess, you are not banned on this channel. I promise you. You haven't done anything to cause me to ban you on this channel. You are more than welcome to be here. As a matter of fact, Chess, if you can behave yourself, sir, if you can be worthy of it, I made you a moderator. If you're worthy of it, I'll take it away from you if you start screwing around with it. But you made me a mod on your channel, I'll make you a mod on mine. I appreciate that. I just think that if it's only the SEC and the ACC, that's going to be a problem with respect to, you know, I mean, obviously you can crown a national champion. Even if there's just one conference point, you can crown a national champion if you want to. You can call it a national champion. And with the ACC playing, obviously you've got plenty of teams available to you that you could definitely have a playoff and so on and so forth. But, you know, is it really a national champion if you're only playing in 2 leagues that only represent a less than half of the percentage of the regions of the country? I mean, the East Coast of the U.S. and the Southeast, is that really enough to make it a national champion? I guess that could be an argument after it's all said and done. But I guess we could do it. I guess we could do a full season with just 2 conferences. I don't think it will happen. I will repeat myself. I think if the ACC, I think if the Big 12 announces today, which they're supposed to do, I think if the Big 12 says we're not playing, that's it. The ACC and the SEC will fold. I think if the Big 12 says that they are playing, then the ACC and the SEC will play. And maybe they might drag the Big 10 back in, but I doubt it. I think once a conference has decided that, I don't think the conference leadership is going to say, oh, wait, do over. I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they have the courage to do that. So I think the Big 12 announcement today, maybe tomorrow, whenever it is, I think that's the key. And I will go down on that belief swinging. You're welcome, Chess. Let's see. Rob F. China has made a profile of you, Chess. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Wilkie is here. How you doing? Wilkie says, with the selection of Kamala Harris, are you still voting Biden in 2020? I wasn't voting Biden to begin with, so now I would be even less likely to vote for Biden. But okay. That will be your one and only political post, hopefully, for the stream. I don't want to talk about the 2020 election. It's depressing. It's depressing. It's as depressing as the thought of no football. At least the football being in play would have been a nice distraction from the stupidity that's going to happen between today and November 3rd. It's just going to get stupider and stupider. But, that's just my opinion. Let's see. Anybody else wearing watches today? What are y'all wearing today? I know I got at least one or two watch guys in here. Anybody wearing one? Speak up. While I'm waiting for something, I'll do real quick on the advertising again. If you're just joining us, don't forget to click the thumbs up button for me. Clicking the thumbs up definitely helps out with the algorithms that YouTube uses, making the channel more searchable. Let's see. Nope, still no headline. So clicking the thumbs up button definitely helps. Oh, my thumbs up count just jumped, so I appreciate that. Super chat function is available down there somewhere if you are of a nature to do that. I've also put a PayPal link in the description of the chat. So if you want to contribute to the channel and you want to take the extra step of using the PayPal, and you do it, let me know here so I can read the message that you attach to it, because I don't have PayPal running at the moment. But if you don't want to do either of that, I'm not saying you have to. Obviously, I'm just glad you're here. Spend some time together, kill off an hour or so. Spend some time chatting. You know me. I'm one of the great talkers out there. I love to run my mouth. Wilkie's saying Big 12 said they are playing football. Where'd you see that? Did they already make the announcement? Probably ESPN picked it up. ESPN. Let me see. Pardon me while I fire up the other screen. I have two screens. I have my main screen with camera here, and then to my left is the secondary screen. Let's see. ESPN, the network I love to hate. College football home. Yep. Big 12 to go with fall football. Let me read this. The conference's board of directors met for more than an hour Tuesday to discuss the future of the season in the midst of decisions by the Big Ten and Pac-12 to postpone fall sports until 2021. Let's see. Our student athletes want to compete, and it is the board's collective opinion that sports can be conducted safely and in concert with the best interest of their well-being. Big 12 Board of Directors Chairman and TCU Chancellor Victor Bashini said. Bashini? I'll go with Bashini. Said in a statement, we remain vigilant in monitoring the trends and effects of COVID-19 as we learn more about the virus. They also released a revised schedule Wednesday. Teams will still play their 9+1 schedules with 9 conference games and 1 non-conference game at the start of the conference season will be delayed until September 26th. So, there you go. It looks like the Big 12 will play football. And they will delay start of the season until September 26th. And that is in line with what the SEC was going to start at the 26th. No? Oh, that vodka is strong. I mean, water is strong. So it looks like there is going to be football. Pardon me again. Football for the Big 12. So I think the SEC and the ACC will follow suit. I am hopeful that the SEC and the ACC will follow the lead of the Big 12, who's shown some leadership and made the announcement and said we're going forward. Chess says he'd love to have me on his show sometime, old man. Okay. Let me know when. I can do that. Oh, Salida is here. Sports Live in the ATL. Salida. Thanks for dropping by, sir. I appreciate it. I'm doing fine. Just found out the Big 12 is going to play football. That's good news, isn't it? I know you're a pro football guy, so you don't care about that. But that's good for me. But you know what? I mean, I will temper my optimism by saying this: you are delaying. I mean, the start of the season was supposed to be the end of this month, beginning of September. The season has now been delayed until the end of September. That is, by my looking at my calendar over here, that's 7 weeks away. 6 or 7 weeks away. A lot can change in 6 or 7 weeks. They've given themselves, look at it this way, they've given themselves a lot of room to back out and say, we can't do this. So they start holding practice and they start holding classes, and these kids go to classes. If the campuses are holding live classes, and the kids start going to classes, and all of a sudden the Wuhan Red Death numbers start going up. They've given themselves 7 weeks to back out and say, no, we can't do this. The numbers are going up. We can't do it. We're backing out. We're canceling. So, I mean, it's great. I'm very happy that the Big 12 has said we're going to go forward with our season. But they have given themselves about 6 or 7 weeks to, reevaluate all through the time period between today, which is August 12th, and September 26th, to reevaluate what they're going to do as the season start draws nearer and nearer. And you know what? That could also work in the other direction. That could also work with the Big Ten and the Pac-12. Although I really doubt the Pac-12 is going to change their mind owing to the culture out there. But it does give the Big Ten time to change their mind and say, yeah, we decided that we think we can do it if we follow the protocols that the others are going to do. We think we can do it safely too. So, yeah, we're back in. I don't think they will do that. I don't think there's enough collective leadership on their boards in the Pac-12 and the Big Ten to do that, but you never know. They could prove me wrong. Maybe they will. My thoughts on Golick and Wingo being replaced. I have no thoughts because I don't watch any ESPN programming other than the football games that they play. I do my best to avoid the four-letter network because they're in my mind a bunch of hyper left libtards, and I really strongly disagree with the overall viewpoint of ESPN's editorial staff and commentary staff. So I haven't watched anything with Mike Golick in many years, and I don't even know who this Wingo guy is. So I could care less. You want to express your thoughts on here, please do. The floor is yours if you want it, but I don't know a thing about Golick and Wingo's show, so I will not be commenting on that. Who do they bring back in? Jamal and that other guy, those two racists that they kicked off of their network, which shocked the hell out of me that they actually had the guts to do that. I mean, I'd love to know who'd be replacing them. It'd probably be somebody far worse than those two that they got rid of, but I don't know. Salida says, what's weird is we all know NFL games will be played, fans or not, yet college football seems to be on the way out. Go figure. Yeah. Well, there's also a lot more money involved in the NFL than there is in college football. The no fun league got to get theirs, and they got to be able to get out there and offend as many Americans as they can before the whole thing gets shut down. So the NFL is on a mission, and I'm sure that's why they're still going to continue to play. September 10th is the week 1. Guess who's not going to be watching the NFL for the 6th year in a row? This guy. I stopped watching the No Fun League years ago, and I haven't missed it. I don't give a damn. As far as I'm concerned, the entire league can go straight to hell. I do not have any use for them, so I won't be watching. Even if college football got canceled, I would rather watch no football than the National Felons League. Let's see. Eric says NPSE. Oh, you transpose it. And he also says ESPN. Everyone stop playing now. I like that. That works. Salida says, I'm with you, Saleen. To me, all those sports shows are stupid. I haven't watched any of those in years. I just watched the game. Yeah, I've tried watching, the Colin Cowherd, Wingo, and not Wingo, but Golick and Greeny. I tried listening to them on the radio, watching them on their simulcast on ESPN2 when I could, and the Herd and all those guys that sit around the table and yell at each other over meaningless nonsense. It bores me. It just bores the piss out of me. I mean, okay, you have an opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. You express your opinion. I'm not going to waste my time listening to it because your show format bores the piss out of me. Unless you're actually doing analysis of the games instead of opinions on why this guy should be kneeling and doesn't, and this guy is kneeling and shouldn't, and they're mostly talking about nonsense, stuff that has almost nothing to do with the actual game. So I don't partake. Salito says, I get the money, but nobody who works in the NFL is poor. They can handle being out. Health is more important than money. Yeah, I agree. Jimmy Thomas, welcome. Haven't seen you here in a while. All is well, and I am trying to stay as safe as I can. Let's see. And he also says, sports talk radio is verbal masturbation. Yes, I agree. Now, I listen to a lot of talk radio, but it's political talk radio, not sports talk radio. I have very little use for sports talk radio. I have very little use for sports talk radio or television, I should say. And Selena says he respects what I'm saying and he will still watch. It's his passion. I understand that, Dave. I really do. And good on you for it's what you love, and I respect that. But I just can't. I just can't give them my time and my money and my emotion anymore. They've done so much to the game of pro football to just drive all that out of me. And it's not just the kneeling and the anti-Americanism and the abuse of first responders and the military and the flag. It's not just that. It's the endless ads broken up by a couple plays in football. It's commentators and color analysts who are absolutely, without exception, brainless and so vanilla. I can't stand it. It's not knowing what a catch is 80% of the time. It's the fact that you can't hit anybody anymore. I mean, I literally saw games that this one poor guy from Green Bay barely touched the quarterback. The quarterback threw himself on the ground and got a 15-yard penalty and eventually got kicked out of the game because the quarterback was a really good actor. It's a nonsense like that. It just destroyed the game. It all has destroyed the game. And I can't stand, again, I repeat myself, I cannot deal with a bunch of millionaires of all races, creeds, whatever, backgrounds, playing a kid's game, getting paid millions, tens of millions of dollars per year to play a kid's game and whine about how depressed they are. And most of them wouldn't lift a finger to give back to their communities, black or white or Hispanic or whatever. Some of them do. Some of them do. A lot of them just take that money and make it rain. Dollars at the strip club or whatever, buying, $500,000 Maybachs and throwing 26-inch wheels on their Land Rovers. How about setting up an education fund at your old high school? How about taking a senior class at your old high school and saying, if you get into college, I will pay your tuition for 4 years. See how many of those kids work hard to get into college, knowing that an alma mater, an alum from their high school is going to pay for their 4-year ride. How about setting up businesses in your old neighborhood? How about investing in low-income housing projects? I mean, I hate Jimmy Carter as much as anybody out there who offends me to that level. Rabid anti-Semite, old senile, Marxist. But good on him for doing that Habitat for Humanity thing and using his celebrity to do some good with that program and that whole thing. How about some of you NFLers take some of those millions of dollars and throw them back into your old neighborhood, try and rebuild the places you came from, rather than walk into a strip club and, like this all the time. How about doing some good for humanity instead of the crap you usually pull? The NFL players make me sick. Anyway, moving on. Now that I've got that off my chest. Marek said kneeling used to be a sign of respect. Yes, it isn't anymore. I remember when Tim Tebow kneeled, he got ripped to shreds for it. I guess he was kneeling for the wrong reason. He was kneeling before God. I guess now you just kneel as a sign that you hate your country. I wonder which one was more correct. No, I've never watched the CFL. No, I shouldn't say. I have tried to watch the CFL. I assume you mean the Canadian Football League. The rules are a little goofy, but it's not really good quality football. So I just can't watch it for very long. It's not very good football. But I have watched it occasionally. Well, my friend Kevin is here. Yes, I am doing well. And thank you. I am trying to build a channel, and it's a labor of love. And I understand you, Kevin. You started your own business now. How's that going? I saw pictures on the Facebook about your new truck. I don't know if it's high-end ice cream truck. I don't know how you describe it, but I wish you very good luck on that. Let's see. Sports Live in the ATL says his CFL team is Calgary. Okay. Yeah, penalized flopping like that the way it was. Unfortunately, they won't, because now everyone is so woke about hitting and everything. And what used to be legal hits back in the day, it's now like, why don't you just put flags on the guy and dress the quarterback in a leotard with pink ruffles? If you're going to treat him like a ballerina, he should dress like one. I think they should do. I think they should take away, make the pads on the uniform smaller, and maybe get rid of the helmet. You want to get rid of all the hitting and everything, get rid of the helmets. I guarantee you, nobody's going to go flying at anybody else with a helmet on. I mean, if we're going to get ridiculous with the rules, let's get ridiculous with the rules. I mean, the Australian rules football, they don't wear helmets. They don't wear pads. They seem to do all right. They learned how to hit the right way, I guess, or something. But let's adopt their model of playing football. Let's get rid of all the pads and play body on body. Let's see what happens with that. It's as good as any other stupid ass idea the No Fun League has had lately. Let's see. Jimmy says, totally agree. Some of the athletes are out of control. And like the old line out of the Bronx Tale, do you think Mickey Mantle cares about you? Excellent point. Selena's got to go. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it, Dave. I'll see you in another stream. Wilkie says, what's the weather in Florida in November? Maybe coming down to Florida in November. November in Florida is it's beginning to cool off. The temperature is moderated to a degree. You're still going to see days in the 80s. The humidity has begun to break. It's drying out. Summer is our wet season. We usually get daily rain showers during the spring and summer, but by November, the air is drying out. It's beginning to cool off a little bit. It'll still feel like spring up north. It'll still be in the 80s. You'll still be wearing shorts. Definitely, as you get closer to your trip in November, start keeping an eye on the weather. We do get some late season hurricanes every once in a while, or tropical systems every once in a while, so keep an eye on that too. But for the most part, weather in Florida in November is fantastic. That's October, November is when you start seeing a lot of the Canadian folks who live part-time down here. That's when they come down here to start living their winter season here instead of up in Canada. So I think you'll find it to be very nice down here in November. Great place to live. I wouldn't live anywhere else. That's too brick. Rugby does have very stringent tackling rules, but they managed to play the game without padding, other than like an athletic cup or something. I think a couple of guys wear those old leather style. They're not even helmets; they're like headgear, like you see wrestlers, amateur wrestlers wear. So you see that a lot, but I mean, if we're going to go to the point where you can't hit anybody anymore in the No Fun League, let's just adopt their rules and play it like that for a couple of years. See how that works out. Couldn't be any worse than the crap they're putting on the field now. Jimmy says, I think the NFL should go to a leather helmet and adopt rugby tackling rules. Target the upper body. Yeah. Agreed. I mean, if you're going to get to the point where you can't hit anybody without getting a personal foul penalty called on you, and then you get a targeting, and then you're kicked out of the game. I mean, for God's sake, it's football. It's a violent, aggressive game. It's meant to be body on body, man on man, hit on hit. and the strongest guy survives the hit. It's not that way anymore. It isn't. They've so convoluted the game that it's unwatchable to me. I grew up watching football in the '70s and the '80s and even the '90s when hitting was still permitted. And I watch today's game, and it's like I watch today's hockey game through these eyes of watching the Big Bad Bruins and the Broad Street Bullies and the Lunchbox Gang and all those guys just pounding each other. It was as much hitting as it was skating back in the day. And nowadays, it's like you brush up against somebody the wrong way and they do a pirouette and fall to the ice, and you got a 2-minute interference penalty. Or if you hit somebody and they happen to hit the sideboards, you get a 5-minute boarding penalty. And don't even get me started on the instigator rule, what that did to the game. Just horrible. I really hate to think about this, but I really think that, and I'm 55 years old right now, 55 and then some. And I'm thinking that in my lifetime, those kind of contact sports are going to be gone. In 10 years, 20 years, the way things are trending, I really think that those kind of contact sports are going to be outlawed. I really hate to think of a sports world like that, but I really think that the way everything is trending nowadays, and all that toxic masculinity trying to be squeezed out of our society and everything, that I really think that contact sport could be removed from the lexicon in my lifetime, and that really saddens me. Oh well, I'll just enjoy it now, I guess. Let's see. Jimmy says, at this stage of my life, I do not want to spend my money and time on pro sports. I really get nothing out of it. I spend that time with my family or doing woodworking in the garage. I can get behind that. I can't do woodworking. I don't have the tools for it, and I certainly don't have the talent for it. At this point, I probably don't have the eyesight for it, but I understand the sentiment. I spend more time with my time with other things than pro football on Sundays, for example. I don't miss it. I don't find that I miss it. I have better things to do. I can spend that time more productively on other things. I can keep my house clean. I can play with my Mustang. I can play with my watches. I can spend time with my family. Although now my kids are grown up and they've moved on to their lives. But there are plenty of other things that I can be doing with myself, and I do sit around and watch a bunch of millionaires whine about how impressed they are while watching endless TV ads broken up by 3 plays in a row, if I'm lucky. And then everyone stands around for 5 minutes while the referee's trying to decide if that was a catch or not. So, I have better ways to spend my time productively. And speaking of spending my time productively, are there Mormons in the NFL? Playing on Sunday would be an issue. I don't know. I guess you could start by looking to see if there are any alumni of Brigham Young or the other. There's another heavily Mormon-based college football program out there. But if there are any BYU alum out there playing in the NFL, you can start with that. Do I ever watch high school football? I did for a while. My old high school, My kids didn't go to my old high school. They went to a different high school, but their friends went to that high school, and I'm friends with their parents. So we would go to high school games together, but now all of them have graduated out. And I might go to a high school football game every once in a while just to do something on a Friday night. But Friday nights in Florida, you get a lot of rainstorms, and sitting in a football stadium watching a football game in a driving rainstorm is not the most entertaining way to spend an evening. So I don't really partake of that much anymore. Steve Young and Jim McMahon were in the NFL and went to BYU. Yeah, but Jim McMahon was not a Mormon. As a matter of fact, he was famous for being very vocally outspoken against the Mormons at BYU. I don't know about Steve Young. I don't know if he's a Mormon or not, but I suspect they get around. They get around it somehow that they go play on Sunday. This is not this is not really a big question in my mind of if there are any Mormons in the NFL. That's a good point, Jimmy. They probably do get a waiver from the LDS Church, probably pay a fee, a tithing, they would call it, and get out of it. Real Big Lee, how's it going, man? Thanks for stopping by. Boy, are you late. Yeah, Jim McMahon was a character, that is for sure. He was a character and a half. And still no announcement at my phone about the Big 12. Usually the news places are really good about throwing alerts up on these things. But most of the alerts I'm getting are from Facebook Messenger from my watch group. They're talking heavy again. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Jimmy. Thanks for spending your lunchtime here. I got to go too. I got to wrap this up. I know you're a busy man, Lee. I do. I'm not calling you out. I'm just glad you showed up, but unfortunately, I got to wrap it up because I got a couple of things I got to get done. And I've been out here an hour, 15 minutes, so I got to go. I really appreciate everybody stopping by. It was great to talk to you all and have a chat. Thanks for the thumbs up. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Wilkie. You take care as well. Of course, Peprex just shows up just in time for me to say goodbye to him. But I appreciate everyone stopping by. If you're seeing this later after the live stream, give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. It really helps the channel out. Comments, questions, and suggestions down below. I promise I do read them all. I do respond to them all. But if you're going to troll me or otherwise be a jackass, I'm going to just delete the comment. I'm going to block you. If you're new here, welcome. Of course, welcome. Please click the subscribe button, and then if you do that, click the bell icon so that when I upload new material or I go live again, you will be alerted. So everybody stay safe, have fun, enjoy yourselves. I will look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. I will do another live stream, I promise. Appreciate everyone being here. Have a good rest of the day. See you soon. Peace.